The second infestation pit on this side for Hing is going down as well, so you will see some mid-game infester play. We're at the 11-minute mark, which is typically where you start transitioning from into the mid-game or possibly into the late game, an Overseer going down, so you may see some extra scouting, detection, changelings, things along that line. There is a changeling that was moved around, but it has since been eradicated. Now, burrow, pathogen glands, and missile attacks level 2 are being researched by Hing for his roaches. He's gonna dedicate himself on that roach army. Being detected by these overlords, they don't even need to spew too much creep. They're both about the same mobility-wise. Now, I am anticipating... Oh, see, I was about to say this, but I was anticipating an expansion here. It was looked at earlier, but now is going to be officially put in there by Animal. You may see something very similar coming from Hing, depending on his scouting of that. However, I don't believe he sees it per se. More creep being spread around by the overlords of Hing, and 3 infestors being spawned as well. More roaches by Animal, mostly because of the fact that he is a little bit behind in roach count, but that will be turned around very shortly. There still is a changeling in his base. Did he walk that into any of these? No. There is a changeling out there somewhere. Might even be by this army, but I'm not absolutely sure. More roaches, infestors. Oh, 5 infestors on the way for Hing. Going to be more effective with these in general. And he is going to ferry these workers over. Were they distance mining? Well, they will be. The hatchery isn't necessarily complete, but there comes the the third expansion by Hing. They are matching each other tit for tat with these expansions, so that is phenomenal and good to see overall. The burrowed roaches are, no, these are infestors. My bad. Should have known the little spines on top. The infestors are going to sneak around, see what they can see. I don't know if there are any overseers, and there is one overseer for each, so he will be able to see what is what. He may even be able to control one of them for a second or two. Nope, there is a spore crawler there, so the infestors will not get very far at all, will not be able to spew those infested Terrans into the mineral field. More workers slowly being sent over to these third expansions for both distance mining going on by Hing. More infestors being spawned to make up for that, based on that slight little lead that he has from losing those infestors. Heavy in the ways of gas, indeed. Now, I'm just going to look at something kind of silly here. Actually, I'm not so concerned with that. The APM is actually doesn't need to be so high with this. Now, these infested Terrans will get rid of the overlords. Something interesting to see. So there is a quick little supply block there. I'm actually kind of lucky that I even noticed that. A little bit of that aggression. The scouting will kind of be denied from the infested Terrans due to the high infestor count. Not necessarily high infestor count, but the infestor count for both armies. 2 spine crawlers going down for this expansion. A lot in the ways of defenses for both of these armies. So you will see something along those lines. More infestors, roaches, even spine crawlers being put into the fray. More infested Terrans doing damage against those overlords. So you will see 4 overlords coming in for Animal. Now, I am anticipating, due to the fact that this army is so huge in favor for Animal, he will probably be the first one to make an aggressive push with probably a higher amount of roaches. And that's exactly what you're seeing. About 10 more roaches will be effective as far as the army is concerned. It will really come down to how well the fungal growth infestor micro is, especially in large macro games. Something like that can very much turn the tide. There are more infestors for Hing in this case, with 9 of them. So you may see more fungal growths, which will allow his roaches to do a bit more. But I would like to see some more of them as well. Now, a 4th expansion going down for both. And in this case, it's actually Hing who was the first one to get that hatchery out. The timing's very similar, just kind of how no one's being really aggressive. They're playing it safe, playing a macro game, getting the max army. Speaking of which, Animal has basically maxed his army with some Zerglings, roaches, and infestors. He's got... These Zerglings are going to poke ahead, see this army, and... Ooh, they are not long for this world. Poor little Zerglings. They'll probably sacrifice themselves for the cause. He is going to morph in even more roaches, and there they go. They are both at about 195, 191 supply. Here comes a big battle, as we expected, you will see large amount of fungal growth shortly. Oh, no, they're going to be more passive. Well, that happens. The expansions are almost complete. Hing is complete in his expansion. He will ferry some workers over eventually, but it's not as crucial with this major battle coming. Ooh, a huge amount of fungal growth going down. The infestor is able to shrug it off. Fungal growth going on both sides. Roaches damaging each other. However, the micro, oh, so much fungal growth, so much more effective, but so many roaches dying on both sides. It'll be interesting to see how the micro is. More roaches walking in. However, looking at it, it does seem like... Oh, wow, I do got to give it to Animal for barely pulling ahead. They are so evenly matched. But Hing is actually falling behind, and more infested Terrans, and they're going to burrow. But no, in fact, it is Hing who is going to lose this with that small micro occurring. A lot of roaches, but infested Terrans doing a great job with fungal growth throughout the whole battle. However, he is going to attempt to do some healing with his infestor. And they do see it right away with this Overseer. It will not get away easily. Animal quickly able to max out his army once more, especially with a soon-to-be fully functioning 4th expansion. He has just recently depleted his main. More roaches on the way. He does not have an advantage. It would be safer for him to macro up even a bit more. But with these stacked defenses, the advantage with the fungal growth heavily in favor of Hing. I do anticipate... Oh, wow. Hing has somewhat turned the tides. That was an amazing display. Once he was able to avoid that, he is going to go ahead into the main, do as much damage as possible, but he is basically sacrificing his units. Animal is going to go ahead and get 13 more roaches to get that increase in supply. And this expansion is gone. Wow, that is interesting to see. Did he single-handedly out-micro his army? But there are so many roaches here. Hing is going to destroy them. Not the wisest to move for Animal. Oh, they are close. It would be interesting to see the final steps. More roaches moving in to their death. Trying to go for this upper expansion. Destroying the Queen with those upgrades. A Spire now going down for Animal as a last-ditch effort. These roaches will do a little bit of damage, but I don't know how much he will do. He basically eradicated one expansion and will do some damage to this hatchery. I don't know if he will do enough to destroy. More roaches by Hing coming in. And this expansion, will it live? Yes, it will definitely live. They will get it down to about 100 HP, but it will not go down. A nice amount of harassment. Maybe should have gone for workers since he couldn't exactly finish it off. Animal a little bit behind, but that's the beauty of the Zerg army, able to quickly reinforce. However, with 4 bases for macro purposes, 3 fully functioning ones, meanwhile only 2 for Hing, the advantage is still in favor for Animal in my opinion. However, that max army will cause some extra damage. These roaches and broodlords, due to that quick tech up to that Spire and Great Spire, I didn't notice it, but broodlords will be very effective, seeing as how, ooh, the greater Spire is going up for Animal as well. But at this point, those broodlords are going to do so much. Unfortunately, Animal will not be able to handle it. Great transition, Hing. Good job to respond to that harassment. Fungal growth and anticipating a GG. That seems to be it. There is not much he can do from there. And there you go. That kind of does it. That is the last straw. Animal will send a GG. Good game. So, there you go. Epic transition. A very good ZVZ in my opinion. It's up to you to decide whether it was a GG. You can find this replay on SC2 Replayed. I hope you have a good day, learned a thing or two, and I will see you guys next time.